pandemic has radically affected the Australian labour market, but it is rebounding strongly, according to a National Skills Commission report. Joining me live from Canberra now is Adam Boyton, the National Skills Commissioner. Adam, good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. So, for a lot of people, it can be easy to think that things are hunky-dory again, given that we officially came out of recession last week. But still, unemployment and underemployment remain stubbornly high.
That's true. I mean, at the start of the pandemic, over the 2 months to May, we lost around 850,000 jobs. Now, we've got around 650,000 of those jobs back. But as you point out, the unemployment rate at 7% is a lot higher than it was before we started or before COVID hit. And then particularly amongst different groups, different age cohorts, you've had some very significant and ongoing impacts that are going to take a number of months, in fact, probably quite a lot longer than months to work through.
During your report, what did you find, Adam, to be the most resilient jobs and continue to be the most resilient in those months and those years ahead?
So in the report, we looked at 358 different occupations and used a number of techniques to see how resilient they'd been to the shock of COVID. Look, unsurprisingly, right now, healthcare and social assistance jobs are generally more resilient than others. But interestingly, construction has a lot of resilient occupations, and also education and training. So that's the picture now. One of the interesting things in the report, to my mind, is as we move further through recovery, recovery should be much more broadly based, and even those sectors like hospitality that have been really negatively impacted to date will start to rebound even more.
The report that you've done, why is that so useful, and is it being picked up by the government?
So I think to me, the usefulness of the report is it gets to this question of how radically different will our labour market look as we recover from COVID-19, and do we need to be thinking about a labour market where jobs are very, very different to what things looked like when we entered? Or is it more that what we've seen during this is an acceleration of some of the pre-existing structural changes that were underway? And to the extent that the report finds that it's more the latter, what it tells us is actually when we emerge from the shadow of COVID, our labour market in many respects will look pretty similar to the way it did when we entered. The way we do our jobs might be a bit different, but a lot of those jobs, they're still going to be there. And I think in a way that there's a message. It's early days, but there's a message of hope almost of that in that report.
I know you just spoke about hospitality, and there is still a way to go for those jobs in the hospitality sector, but is there any evidence that you've seen that those jobs that were there pre-COVID may not be there in those huge numbers that we are perhaps used to?
I don't think so. It's a question of timing. So over the 3 months to May, if we take waiters, for example, around employment of waiters fell by around 100,000. We got about 56,000 jobs back there over the 3 months to August. In some of the longer-term modelling that's in the report, when we think about things out to 2023 and 2025, what the report and the modelling suggests is the underlying growth we'd seen in hospitality and similar occupations will come back. It's just a question of time. And so I don't wish to suggest it's going to be easy at all for the next year or so, but I do think that there is, even in hospitality, when we look further out, when the vaccine's widely available, those jobs will be there and will be there in numbers.